Disclaimer. Hey. In this book I will impose few things on the reader to mock my plan for the story. Reader is an orphan. Reader is 18. Reader likes to cook and knows how to cook. Reader is a medic. Tell me something about yourself in. Miki, your new friend could finally burst out when the two of you were alone after a long day of work. You know a lot, Miki. You gave her a punch in the arm. Why are you such a gossip? You never told me much about your past. Tell me the story of your life, I demanded. There was no point trying to stop her enthusiasm. Okay. You laughed, shifting to a better position on your small bed. I don't know my parents. All that I remember from my childhood is that I was an orphan. It stuck to me just like the rest of my siblings from the orphanage. Orphan this, orphan that. None of us had a name in the village, it was just the orphan. I don't have a sad demon story. It's not like any demon could kill my parents. You get it? When I hit 16 I went on a journey to see the world. I traveled for a year or so, but it came out that living on your own is hard. That's when I decided to find a stable job. And here I am. In the butterfly estate, with Shinobu upon me, learning to be a good butterfly girl. Finding the demon slayers was a miracle to me. I always wanted to help people. It's weird for me that while living in this strange and dangerous world, so near to the demon slayers, I've never encountered any demon in my life. I've had my sad moments. I've also had my happy ones. Maybe that's why I still have a positive side? You sure sound like an adventurer. Miki laughed at you. Hey, at least I did something on my own. You snapped back at her. Both of you laid in your beds, not minding the hour, talking about your lives. It may have been the last time when you had a chance to experience something like this. You've known Miki for a year and grew really attached to her. Unfortunately, your happy times at the butterfly estate were about to come to an end. The two of you will be separated tomorrow. Both of you were old and skilled enough to serve in other pillars' estates. When the morning rises you will face your new master. That was outrageous. You just got information about the whole division process from Shinobu. You could pick your own pillar. Well, at least you could try to get to the pillar you chose. Every butterfly girl got a small piece of paper where she was about to write 3 pillar names, beginning with the one they most wanted to work for. Most of your friends, including Miki, sweated over Rengoku. You liked the guy, but you didn't know him well. Heck, you also knew about his father living in his estate. No matter how hot Rengoku was, he was not hot enough for you to deal with an old grump. I think I will choose Mitsuri. You thought to yourself as you've written her name in the first place. Now that you thought about it, you didn't know any pillar except for Shinobu. You've heard about them, but that's pretty much all. Who do you guys write down, aside from Rengoku? You asked all your friends. I've heard that Gyu is not much of a problem. One of the butterfly girls answered your question. Yeah, you also heard about him. Might as well write him down in the second place. Now you only have to find the third one. You started to ask a bit around. It turned out that most of the pillars had a bunch of votes from everyone. There was nearly no one who was left unpicked. There was only one exception. Who is that Shinazugawa? You asked Miki. Oh no girl, don't pick that. He will eat you alive. Your best friend warned you. Asking the rest of the girls you noticed that none of them wrote that guy down. You felt kinda down about it. Shinobu told you that with this voting they also wanted to test the popularity of the pillars within bystanders. They definitely had some kind of a contest. You felt really bad about the fact that this Shinazugawa guy had 0 votes. You wrote him down in the last place. It's not like you will land him, right? You had 2 other propositions and Shinobu really liked you so she wouldn't give you away to any meanie. Right? All the skilled butterfly girls were standing in a row in front of the pillars. The demon slayers looked rather relaxed, in contrast to their new pupils. You didn't feel a lot of stress, you were also relaxed. You knew no matter what you would get a good pillar. Because all of them were good. Welcome everyone, we may get straight to the point. Shinobu found herself a place in the middle of the both sides. Aoi was helping her, holding a chart that only they could see. I'm happy to say that every one of the pillars got at least 1 vote. There was a murmur of satisfaction hearable from the demon slayers. I would also like to congratulate Rengoku for being the most popular pillar. Nearly every vote has your name on it. You are lucky I didn't take part in the voting. The bug pillar was sharp as always. As this was a contest, I will read the names of my butterfly girls and the pillars in the order from the most votes to the least votes. Please remember that if there was more than one vote for a certain pillar, there was a draw deciding who will get the job, so don't whine that someone was favorized. With that, she started. Our winner Rengoku, welcome your new butterfly girl Miki, treat her well. You could swear that you heard Miki scream internally. Your friend hopped to Rengoku's side and waved to you. If you weren't standing in the row, you would wave back. For now you had to focus and listen to your name. Next was of course Mitsuri. You also didn't get her. Gyuwu got third place, which shocked the other pillars. The girl that got him looked like her eyes were about to pop out from looking at him, so everybody quickly got what was going on. You swore you heard someone say that handsome bastard. Time went by and there were less and less pillars, yet you were still standing in the row. Finally there was only one girl left next to you, and her name was called out first. You sweat dropped. Last but not least, with one vote, Shinazugawa, welcome your new butterfly girl YN, treat her well. Instantly, you felt someone's eyes dart your way. Wait. It was everyone's eyes, but one of them especially drilled holes in you. One vote? It's like the pillar had to get only my vote. It looks like I did it on purpose. I barely remember the third name. I just know I wanted to get a job for Mitsuri. You looked up at your pillar, already standing in front of you. It was a man with white hair and a lot of scars. He looked like he wanted to kill you. Hello? Master? You were lost. It was getting dark. 20 minutes and the sun will set. You never even got to know your pillar, but you already underestimated him. Once you got picked for him, he said, right there and then, that you have 10 minutes to gather your stuff and both of you will leave. If you won't make it, you will have to find a way to his estate on your own. You didn't take him seriously. How could you? This was possibly the last time you will see your friends for at least half a year. 10 minutes was far too little to say your goodbye. When you got to the gate and asked for Shinazugawa, you learned that he had already taken off 40 minutes ago. There was no way you could find him. Here you are, alone, in the middle of I don't know, and it's nearly dark. If something will kill you, it will be his fault. That's what you've written in your testament that you made up on a tissue. After walking for a short while, you saw some lights. There must be a town that way, or at least a village. You ran there as fast as you could because the sun had already set and you didn't want to meet any demons. While at the village, you tried to look for someone to talk to. It was late, so most of the houses were already locked and the lights were out. You didn't want to wake anybody up. You spotted an inn, but just as you were about to step in, a big man came flying out of it. Poking your head in the doorframe, you saw a fight going on in the middle. Wandering a little bit more, you started to feel desperate. The inn didn't look like a good place to sleep for a girl dressed as a small butterfly. Knocking at someone's door may not end well, and sleeping on the street also doesn't sound good. What to do? You spotted a stall with some food. There was a woman standing in it. You quickly made your way to her and took a seat, lifting the hanging materials to hide your head in the small, hot space. Welcome, what for you? The woman had a round face and a pink outfit. She had a friendly appearance. A piece of advice. You joked, still not giving up on your humor. What happened? I've lost my master. Well, in fact I didn't obey him in the first place, and now I believe this is my punishment. Your head sank. Why did you disobey him? Masters are all about listening to them, they usually know better. She crossed her hands on her chest. I know, I feel embarrassed because of this and I'm sorry. He's my new master and I've only learned his name yet, I already disappointed him. And what is that master's name? Maybe I know him. Shinazugawa. You answered. Oh child, you're lucky. You looked up at her and her big grin. I do know him. Really? Yes, and I need to say, you better obey him next time. Listen to what I say, child. She poked a finger at you. I know I will. I feel really embarrassed about my behavior, just like I said. If I could only say that to him. Maybe he wouldn't be so angry with me. Happy to hear you are actually embarrassed, but don't think, for even a moment, that I'm any less angry with you. You felt a shiver run down your spine as you heard that voice. Darting your head to the side, you saw a pair of pale, lavender eyes staring into your soul. Welcome, master. Your head sank a second time, really deep. Yes, welcome Shinazugawa. What can I serve for you today? The woman from the stall didn't lose her spirit seeing you getting scolded. Your master ordered some food and the two of you sat in silence. When the woman brought his bowl, you looked at it in a longing way. "Anything for you, dear?" she asked. You put your hand into your pocket to find some coins. Next, you gave Shinazugawa a look, but he pretended that he didn't see you. Finally, you took out everything you had and placed it on the counter. "Anything for that?" you mumbled. "You are lucky that you got here." Shinazugawa finally opened his mouth to you. He was done with his supper and you were afraid that he would run away again, as your food only arrived. You started to eat the small bowl of soup as quickly as you could. "Why do you act like a pig?" Your master gave you a mental kick in the butt. "Sorry, I don't want you waiting again." You mumbled, finishing the bowl. "Don't be so hard on her, she was really sorry earlier." The woman laughed. "Thank you for the meal." Shinazugawa left and you hopped after him. "Don't slow me down too much." He threw your way. Now I know why no one wanted him. Waking up, you sat in your bed. It was always weird to get up in a strange room. Now this was your room. It was big and it was only you here. Memories from last night hit you. You and your master came to his estate, which was close to the village, the whole way in silence. He showed you your room and left you here. You had the whole evening to think about how much you messed up. You thought about making this up for him. Changing into the clothes that you found in the cupboard, you made your way down. Your outfit was simple and white. You looked like a housekeeper. Shinazugawa was nowhere to be found. You explored the estate. It had 2 stories and was not very decorated. There were no flowers, no paintings. Just walls, floor, and a lot of empty rooms. Looking out of the window, you spotted your master training in the garden with some dummies. The garden looked better. There were stone paths and rockeries everywhere. A few trees gave shade in some places and there was a single rocking bench to sit. You could do a lot of things in that garden. You ran down to the kitchen wanting to make breakfast. Unfortunately, the kitchen was empty. You had to ask Shinazugawa for some cash for groceries. You found a way to the garden, took a deep breath, and pushed the doors outside. Shinazugawa was training hard, sweat dripping from his chin and forehead. He only had loose trousers on himself, which made you look at him, no matter how hard you didn't want to. His skin was strewn with scars. Suddenly he stopped smashing his sword into the dummies and turned your way. "What are you staring at?" He gave you a questioning look, rather an angry one. "Sorry, master." You bowed. "I wanted to ask if you would be willing to hand me some money for the groceries. I wish to make you a meal. I eat at the stall where I was yesterday." He shrugged his arms and went back to training. Little did he know that now you were angry. Cooking was a sanctity for you. You loved to cook and nothing was better than a homemade meal. There were so many recipes for soups, main courses, and desserts. This whole thing was about to go to trash because of a simple "I eat at the stall." "I'm deeply sorry, master, but I need to disobey you once more," you stated, looking at him. He turned your way with an unsettling look. "You got 2 orders and you can't follow even one?" "I am deeply sorry, master. As a butterfly girl, I need to take care of your health and think that eating at a stall all the time is not best for you. You need certain meals depending on your training and wounds. I will cook for you." This was bold, but you crossed your hands on your chest. Shinazugawa was a bit shocked. No other butterfly girl ever opposed him in this matter. Why was this one so eager to cook for him? Whatever, it would only make his food cheaper. Master made his way towards you. When he crossed past you, you could feel the heat of his body. He was really training hard. You heard some coins rattling behind you, then something banging on a wooden surface. "Here," was all that he said. Coming back with the groceries, you made your way to the kitchen. Finally, it looked like someone actually lived here. You also bought some flowers and seeds to give a bit of a charm to the rest of the house. It was for your master's mental health. Kidding, you just felt like you lived in a ghost town. Preparing the meal, you thought about how you cooked for that guy even if he was so mean to you. Yes, you made mistakes, but you barely knew him and it was all new. Whatever, it's your job and you're a hard worker. When the late breakfast was ready, you packed it all, a few small dishes, on a bamboo tray, and went to your master's rooms. He had the whole part of the house for himself. You only peeked a bit while talking to him through the garden, but you actually never stepped into his part of the estate. You knocked on the large door. They were painted light blue and had wind likenesses on them. Someone skilled must have painted it. You heard a faint come in. Pushing the door to the side, you saw your master sitting and doing. You didn't even know what. He was just sitting there. He must have been doing something, but maybe he didn't want to show you. Why must he act like such a non-human? You put the tray on a table. I hope you will like it, master. You bowed. He didn't move an inch. After you finished breakfast, I wanted to ask, would you agree to a massage? You can't leave your muscles like that after a hard training session. It's not efficient. Of course you didn't mean any sexy massage, you wanted to give him old, good muscle breaking. Never used them. He responded. I insist. Why are you so stubborn? I want to do my job good for you. He looked you in the eye, but you didn't back off. Okay. He made his way to the table. Where do you wish to have the massage? Do you need to ask about everything? Just do what you think is best and leave me. He got angry. I don't need to ask if you don't wish me to. This magical sentence could give you so many new perspectives here, he just has to agree. Whatever. Good, see you in 30 in your garden, master. You bowed with a sinister smile. After you left the room, Shinazugawa looked at the door you just disappeared behind. Annoying, stubborn, weak, pretty and silly. Every one of them is like that. You gathered the stuff that was necessary for a massage session. Your favorite gear was the spiky, wooden roller which you used to loosen the muscles. Yes, it was painful, but the relief afterwards was worth it. As you came to his room, your master was already waiting. The plates that you bought earlier were empty. This puts a smile on your face. At least it tasted good. Silently, you placed the mat on the terrace that was halfway outside in the garden. The sun was high in the sky, its rays bathing the terrace. You placed your tools in the shade, so that your master would be comfortable. Sitting next to the mat, you patted it. Taking the sign, Shinazugawa stepped up from his sitting spot. He took off his upper half and rolled up his loose trousers, exposing his tights. He laid down on his belly and turned his head to the other side. You pressed the roller to his arm, it was big and tense. You started pressing it and rolling up and down to get rid of all the pressure and toxins from his muscles. It was kinda awkward. You were used to talking with your patients back at the butterfly estate. Now, it was deadbeat silence. You just couldn't take it anymore after 10 minutes. How old are you, master? You asked. Huh? He was unready for that question. 21. Oh, so you're not much older than me, I'm 18. MHM. More silence. You moved to his back muscles. You were more delicate with these as his spine was near. Is it hard to be a pillar? Shinobu was always very busy. Yes. You moved to his butt and legs. This was double awkward and you just wanted to distract yourself from what your hands were doing. You wondered why your brain acted this way. You were a skilled butterfly girl, this was everyday job for you, it's just a human body. Do you mind if I decorate the house a bit? I thought paintings and plants. I said, don't ask me about stupid things. He grumbled. Turn around please. He did as you asked. Now he was looking at you. Even though his face had a frown and it was painted with scars, his eyes had a beautiful color. You have a nice eye color, master. You spat out, you were really stressed now, when he was eyeing you. Thank you. Wow, no smart remark? Anyway, the decoration. I know what we talked about earlier, but it's not like I won't ask you about things concerning your house. You laughed an awkward laugh. It's your house now too. You looked at him and blinked, your hand subconsciously stopped moving. What? He asked. Oh, nothing. You shrugged it off. Just nice to hear something like that. Being an orphan and stuff. Sweet to hear that something is yours finally. You gave the man a genuine smile, and rolled his tight with precision. You're an orphan? He asked. You're interested in the story of my life? Not really, but you keep on talking to me so I might as well talk back. It's only the two of us in the house. I'm fine with it, but you seem to long for a conversation. Your master was blunt. Yeah, I'm used to a lot going around. Spending the last year with other butterfly girls was a racket. You shrugged, grabbing a relaxing lotion, it had a nice, light, flowery smell, you made it yourself. I was an orphan from the very beginning, didn't know my parents, or how I got to the orphanage. At least no demon could kill my parents, so I don't have a sad backstory. You gave Shinazugawa a toothy grin. He just stared at you. Oh no, did a demon kill his parents and I just made the worst joke of my life? Shinazugawa gave out a tiny laugh. He snorted and looked back at you. You laughed, master. No. Okay, then I just imagined it. You rubbed the last portion of lotion onto his body and standed up. Thank you for considering my advice. It is a pleasure to serve you and care about you, master. Bowing before him, you gathered all your tools and started to head out of his part of the house. Butterfly girl. You stopped in your tracks and turned around. Thank you. Always here for you, master. You gave him a smile, a real smile. It was a cloudy day, the rain could start any minute. You took the opportunity to plant new flowers in the garden. The soil was soft and you wanted the seeds to water naturally. Humming a song to yourself, you gardened in peace. Suddenly you heard someone shouting. Butterfly girl. Where is she? You ran to the front gate as fast as you could. The raindrops started to fall from the sky. What's happening? You asked upon seeing a bunch of people. When you came closer, you saw your master lying on a stretcher. The pillar suffered wounds in a battle. He was taken care of in the butterfly estate, but strongly opposed staying there any longer. The insect pillar ordered you to take care of the wind pillar on his behalf. The man hidden all in black instructed you. Get me to my house. Is that girl there? You heard your master shout from behind. Yes, I'm here, this is your estate. Coming closer to him, you learned that his eyes were bandaged. You cupped your mouth and looked at the man in black. I will give you details about his condition inside. It's raining. That was true, you didn't even notice. Shinazugawa was placed in his bed, and you and the rest of the guests sat in a plain room in the other half of the house. He is temporarily blinded. His sight should come back to normal within a week to a month. The man in the black said. He has some other wounds that you will have to treat. The escort group gave you all the details and left as soon as they could. Not only was the day gloomy, a dark aura loomed on the house. You were taken aback by the notice. Your master could be blind for a month. That's so long. You had to take care of him. Not only physically, mentally too. You wouldn't want to be in his shoes. You knocked silently on his door, but no one answered. Wanting to see what was going on with him, you went for necessary medicine and knocked a second time, not awaiting a response. Master, I came to tear at you. You shut the door behind you, but stand in your tracks as soon as you say Shinazugawa. He was sitting in his futon. His head was turned to the side of the open terrace doors. He seemed to be looking at something, but he couldn't. I don't need treatment. He grumbled. You sighed and came closer to him. Kneeling down next to his futon, you put your hands on the floor, loud enough for him to hear. You will make it through, it's just a week, master. It may be a month, or even longer. Thinking about what maybe won't change anything. Leave me alone. You don't know how much that time will cost me. He was getting angry. Maybe we can make this time cost you less, master. Now he turned his head towards you. I can help you train. You know your house like no one else, especially that garden with the dummies. I will help you, master. There was a long silence between the two of you, but you were not backing down. You were here to help him and be his backup in situations like this. Okay. This was his only response. You saw the hesitation on his face, even though his eyes were covered with bandages. He never saw it, but you actually gave him a big and kinda loving smile. That stubborn master. Blinded, your master was twice as angry as usual. His hearing and touch were extremely sharpened. It was the third day of his recovery and he was very impatient. When will we start to train? Shinazugawa grumbled your way. You were currently treating his wounds. Unwrapping his bandages, you sought to spread healing ointment in the deep cuts. The new wounds and old scars made the skin on his torso and back look like a chessboard game. Even though your master was angry most of the time, you didn't lose your spirit. You were still joking around him and trying to lessen the gloomy aura of the house. Actually, I wanted to propose it to you today. We must start off easily, your wounds cannot open, but we may do something. You smiled at him, he didn't see it. Your tone seems happy, why are you happy all the time? He asked. I'm happy to see you healing pretty well, that's all. You shrugged. You acknowledged that with his current state he sought your voice. When you talked to him he was kinda more relaxed than when it was quiet. He never admitted it, but that was the case. When you babbled about anything he knew where you were and what your emotions were. So you just kept on talking. I've made you something, Master. You opened a jar in front of him. The area around you too filled with a nice, soft scent. It was oily and flowery. What is that? He asked. It's an ointment for your scars. I figured that you may be used to it, but scars tend to pull and stretch unnaturally compared to skin. Would you be willing to use it? You poked it closer to him and waved your hand, so he could smell it better. Never used. He started. I know, never used it, but does that mean you can't start, Master? Okay. You smiled and kneeled closer to him. I will use it before bandaging you up, Master. It may be cold. You said. Picking up a bit on your finger, you started with his back. Tracing lines along his scars, you massaged the areas of his body. Unconsciously, you hummed a song, just as you do when you focus on something. You were a quick adapter, not feeling as awkward as just a few days ago. Grumpy or not, he is your master, no need to be shy around him. Moving to his torso, you could feel the tense muscles under your soft finger. You traced a few lines on his abs and chest. Shinazugawa got small goosebumps in one place which made him look kinda cute. His head was down all the time so you had to help yourself. You didn't even think about asking him to put it up, you just placed a finger under his chin and pushed it. You were very focused on your work and humming the song all the time so it came out on itself. He gave in with your touch, having 100 more thoughts about this situation than you. You tended the scars on his neck and gave him one last rub on the cheek. Your thumb caressed his face in the place of the broken skin, as you used the ointment. All done. You exclaimed. Shinazugawa looked a bit dozen off, he had to be honest with himself, that was relaxing. How often will you do that? This question came out of his lips a bit quieter than usual. Well, it would be best if I could tend to you every day. You gave him expertise. Okay. The time for the training came and you thought really hard about what you could provide for your master. He already stretched a little bit on his own, but you were afraid of his training with the dummies. The swings and cuts may open his wounds again, as most of them were on his torso. You also didn't want him to build up tension, particularly due to his eyes. What could you train with him? His condition. You could help him keep up his condition. What would you say for a jog? Not a sprint. Chapter 6. Keep up his condition. You could help him keep up his condition. What would you say for a jog? Not a sprint, in any case. Just a long jog to help you keep up your condition. This way your blood will be running steadily. You exclaimed. Sounds good, but how will you keep up with me? You won't last as long. He had a point. I don't know. Yeah, that was stupid. You felt defeated. I have an idea. You heard him say. I can piggyback you and you will tell me the way. I don't have any wounds on the back and arms. Your cheeks flushed a bit pink at the thought of sitting on your master's naked back, but you quickly hid that thought. That was a great idea. You would also add weight to him. Let's do that. Where do you usually jog, master? You asked. You changed into some more fitted clothes. You had a plain white Hanton and a pair of black shorts under it. Looking at your slip-on shoes, you just decided to take them off, they would likely fall off your feet. Both of you were already outside, next to the main gate. The opposite way of the village. Shinazugawa gave you the answer and you nodded. Do you remember the way by heart? I can only give you details as to the obstacles on the road, master. More or less, I will ask the details. With that you agreed. You packed a small lunch for the two of you, accompanied with water. Both you and your master agreed to take a long jog. Swinging the small, material backpack on your back, you came closer to him and patted his shoulder to signal that you were ready. He kneeled down and you placed your tights on both sides of his waist. He slid his hands under your knees, feeling your body on him. Once stable, Shinazugawa pushed himself up. The white-haired male bounced you a few times in his grasp and you yelped. Don't do silly noises, I won't drop you. He smirked. It was the first time you saw any kind of a smile on his face. Off we go. You pointed your finger. Where is the road, dumbass? Shinazugawa growled. Oh, yeah, that way, to your right. He started to jog lightly and you squeezed his shoulders to keep your balance. It was about to be a nice day. Little did you know that a certain blonde male and a small female were standing near the entrance to the Wind Pillars estate and looking at the two of you. Shinobu, what are they doing? Rengoku asked way too loud. I don't have a clue. You teach your butterfly girls to piggyback their masters? Why does mine not do that? No, Rengoku, I don't teach them this. At first you didn't speak much, you just gave him instructions concerning directions and he asked you about a few crossroads. You were getting a bit bored, already used to the situation. How are you managing, master? Good, done harder things. He snickered. Is there a forest to our left? Yes, we are actually along it right now, master. Tell me when you will see a turn to the left, it leads into the forest. You've done just as he said. Upon seeing the turn you informed him and he took it. You had to be more cautious of every root and hole on the road. Tell me when you will see a lake in front of us, or I will run straight inside of it. After a while the said lake appeared. It was a mesmerizing place to be fair. The sun danced on the waves pushed by the wind. Water glimmering in its rice. It was surrounded by tall trees and there were a few pits with sand. There were large stones sunk from one shore of the lake to the other. See some stones? The big ones? Shinazugawa asked. Yeah, they look cool. Like, someone could jump on them from here to the other side if they could jump high. You laughed, wiggling in your master's embrace to see more of nature's art. You've got a good sense. He smirked. Hold tight, because I'm not letting go of you. Huh? With that he leapt into the air and landed on the first stone. You yelped in surprise and squeezed his neck, which made him make a weird noise. Shinazugawa scolded you for strangling him. Give me the coordinates, 1 o'clock will be fine? More like 1:15, master. You gulped, getting ready for the next jump. He trusted you and jumped, landing perfectly on the middle of the second stone. If he jumps from one stone to another it will take you long to get to the other shore, maybe 20 minutes or so? Are we going to get to the other side like that, master? Usually, I take a break in the middle. A break in the middle? You instructed him on how to jump from one stone to another and after 10 minutes you were actually in the middle of the lake. Shinazugawa jumped to get on the next stone and you watched his legs to see if both of you would land, just as you did every time. Unfortunately, you forgot to keep guard of the rest of the world. Bam! A bird crushed with the two of you, desperately trying to keep back its position in the air. It squealed angrily and flew away. You and your master couldn't regain the position to land on the rock, even though it was big. Both of you fell into the water with a splash. Your body shivered from the sudden, cold sensation. Your ears got filled up and you swallowed a bit of the water. You started to wiggle your hands around and opened your eyes, even though it was painful. You had to find where is the top and where is the bottom. You hit something with your hand. Finally gaining some vision after a few seconds you realized that you hit your master's head, because he was still grabbing you by your tight. He had no clue which way to swim, moving his head around. Grabbing his hand, you traced down to his torso and placed both your arms under his armpits. Feeling his body react to your touch, you started to swim up and he picked up your way. After a second both of you were on the surface of the cold, lake water. Gasping for air you still held it to your master for dear life. There was no ground under you, the water was deep and you were literally in the middle of the damn lake. No matter how good of a swim you were, you still got frightened. Which way? Shinazugawa asked. The stone is on our left, about 10 meters, master. He grabbed you by core collar and placed you on his back, swimming under you. Then, he swam in the direction that you instructed. Soon both of you were touching the stone. Your master helped you get on it and then he pushed himself up. Now what? Now, that was fun. Shinazugawa placed his fists on his hips and faced the sun. Still, your fault we fell in the water. How could I know there was a bird? What do you have that eyes for? For looking you, uck. You pouted angrily. No master this time? Did I get under your skin? He smirked, looking somewhere your way. I'm sorry, master. Drop the formalities, I don't care about them. He sat down, patting the surface, seeking any obstacles. What should I call you? Master? You are uneasy about that. I have a name, you know. So I call you Sanemi? MHM. Same goes for you. Should I call you butterfly girl or dumbass for the rest of your life? He gave you a snicker. No, call me what you want, Master Sanemi. Is it really that hard for you to spit it out? You have a maid fantasy or what? I can play along if you like it. No. What a perv. Okay, I'll just call you Sanemi if that's the sake to stop your fantasies. Hey. I don't fantasize about you, don't get ahead of yourself. You laughed at him. He seemed angry, but he couldn't quite look your way, so it looked as if he was scolding a bird swimming in the water next to you. You packed something to eat? Sanemi asked. Yes, I've made rice balls, but now they are more like rice soup. You mumbled, looking at your soaked backpack. Too bad. Then you remembered about his wounds, adrenaline finally letting go of you. Sanemi, what about your cuts, had they opened? You quickly kneeled down to him and checked his torso. None of the wounds seemed to reopen, luckily. You're all right, thank God. You let out a sigh. Hey, your top is all wet. Dry it out before we go off, I don't want to have you soaking me all the time. He argued. The Hampton won't dry on you that quick, it's all folded. You would have to take it off and place it neatly on the hot, stone surface for the sun to dry it out. What are you waiting for? Dry it. Sanemi growled, not hearing you move. But you opposed. It's not like I can see anything. He reminded you of his temporary blindness. You sweat dropped, he was right, it's not like he can see anything. You took off your Hampton and shorts and spread it out on the stone, sitting next to it. You were in your underwear, cotton tapes holding your chest in place. Looking at the scenery, you admired it in silence. Truth to be told, it was extremely beautiful here. The whole lake spreads out in front of you, the sun giving you warmth. Are you there? Didn't fall in the water? Of course he had to destroy the moment with his complaining. Your master started to wiggle his hands and slapped you on your belly accidentally. Hey! You shouted. Shut it. He growled. The two of you took your time there, waiting for your things to dry out and admiring the excellent weather. Later, you continued the jumping and the jog, coming back to the estate late in the evening. You had guests waiting that actually let themselves in. Sanemi jogged into the house with you still on his back. Good work today. You cheered happily. Your master gave himself a grunt of satisfaction and hopped you in his embrace. Hell yeah, with a butterfly girl like you I will get stronger in no time. Lubricate me how much you want with that weird ointments of yours. What? Both of your heads started to the right. Of course Sanemi couldn't know who was there, but you mentally slapped yourself for not looking around. Shinobu and Rengoku sat beside a table, minding their own business. Who is here? Sanemi spat out, looking to the right and left. The insect pillar and the fire pillar. You informed him. Shinobu, she is still there. Rengoku pointed at you, sitting on your master's back. In that moment Sanemi let go of you and you fell to the ground. There was a loud thud and an ouch afterwards. You said you won't let go off me, Sanemi. You shouted, angry with your hurt butt. He said he won't let go of her. Rengoku was still pointing at you. And she calls him by his first name. Shinobu, can I also carry my beautiful butterfly girl? Shinazugawa, you're a genius, they have such small feet. Don't get excited, Rengoku. Shinobu sighed.